it's okay. Clear. Okay. Once again, cytoskeleton are usually in animal cells. There are some fibrous structures which are distributed inside the cell's cytoplasm. These fiber-like structures are called as cytoskeleton. They are of three types. One is microtubules. Second one is microfilaments, and third one is intermediate filaments. Intermediate filaments. What is the difference in these three types of filaments or microtubules or fiber-like structures? And they are generally made up of proteins. Always remember, fibers are made up of proteins. So this fiber is made up of a protein called tubulin, and filaments are made up of a protein called actin. Okay, usually present in muscle cells. Intermediate filaments are made up of combination of these two, and other types of proteins are also present. Okay, combination of proteins. What is the function of these microfilaments? Whatever cytoskeleton is made up of, the main function is it gives cell a particular shape. Unlike in plant cells, animal cells do not have any cell wall. So there is a requirement of some mechanical strength to the cell. That mechanical strength is provided by the cytoskeleton, and as a result the cell gets its shape. Cell shape is formed. Not only in that, it also helps in signaling process. We'll learn in further classes signal transfer. Okay, it also helps in cell mobility. Cell mobility means movement of substances. These are freely moving fibers. They can collect any particle among themselves, and this set of cytoskeleton can move to other part. So in that way it helps in cell mobility. Mobility means movement of contents inside the cell. Okay, and in that way, that is nothing but it helps in intracellular transport inside the cell. Okay, and one important function it has is karyokinesis. Division of nucleus is called as karyokinesis. When the cells, okay, what we have studied in cell theory, new cells are formed from pre-existing cells by the process of cell division. So when cell division occurs, what happens? First nucleus will divide, after that cytoplasm will divide. The division of nucleus is called as karyokinesis. Okay, after this topic completes, we'll discuss about cell division. In cell division, I'll say you how this cytoskeleton helps in nuclear division. Okay, right. So, some structures that are formed from cytoskeleton are cilia, flagella, centrioles. When you drew the structure of paramecium, on the outer surface of paramecium, we drew small structures. These small structures are called as cilia. Not only this, other organisms, you take Vorticella, there are other organisms which have this cilia. Don't worry about their names. We know paramecium is a common, that's why I'm saying about this. It has cilia all over the body, which helps in transport. You take the cells of bacteria cells have flagella. You take this structure of euglena also has flagella. Okay, flagella cilia are useful for transport. Centrioles are the structures that are formed inside the cells. Okay, we'll discuss about these three. We'll discuss the structure, cilia, flagella, and centrioles. Structures we'll discuss. If you take the flagella, TS of cilia or flagella is same. Both are useful for transport, but flagella has a long whip, whereas cilia are small projections that arise from the plasma membrane. If you take the cilia or flagella, TS of this is a circular structure. Okay, that means you're taking this is cilia, you're cutting like this, you're observing. This is flagella, you're cutting somewhere in middle, you're observing like this. Okay, there are 9 doublets of filaments arranged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are double filaments that are made up of tubulin protein. That means these are microtubules. In the center, there is a cell sheath, and here there is a microfilament, microtubule. Here there is a microtubule. Both are connected together like this. Okay. This arrangement of tubules, microtubules inside the cilia or flagella is called as 9 plus 2 array. Okay. 9 doublets. Why they are called as doublets? 2 fibers are binding together. Okay. They are not this much close. Okay. Between this and this, there is a small linkages that are connecting. Linkages are there that are connecting. Okay. These are linkages. These are doublets. And each doublet is connected to this central sheath by a small bridge like structure. Like this, there is a bridge which connects all this like this. Okay, this is the central sheath. Okay, in between there are 2 microtubules which are connected. Again, they are connected. Okay, this type of arrangement is 9 plus 2 array, and both cilia as well as flagella have this type of 9 plus 2 arrangement. And these are formed from cilia and flagella are formed from cytoplasmic structures called basal body. So when we drew the flagella of a what is that? Bacterial cell, we drew a basal body, a stalk, then I drew a filament. Okay, this is the basal body from which this flagella or cilia will grow. If there are cilia, flagella means only one formed here. If there are more formed, how many are formed? That many basal bodies are there. All the cilia and flagella will arise from basal bodies only. Right? Next, structure of centrioles. Centrioles are present only in animal cells. Both cytoskeleton as well as centrioles present only in animal cells. Centrioles are also one organelle that is present inside the cell. Okay. Usually, they are barrel-shaped structures. 2 are present and they are arranged at right angle to each other. This is one centriole, this is one centriole. Around them, jelly-like matrix is there. Now this entire body, two centrioles, which are held together by a jelly-like matrix, is called as centrosome. Usually they are present, if nucleus is here, they are present just adjacent to the nucleus like this. But during the cell division, when the nucleus should divide, one centriole will move here, one centriole will move here. Okay? During when no cell division is occurring, it is besides nucleus. During cell division, it migrates to poles, polar regions. This and this are polar regions. It migrates to poles. Okay. When we complete cell division discussion, you'll be very clear about these things. Okay. Now let us see the structure of centriole. If you cut any of the centriole and observe the TS of this from this angle, it is again a central body which is having 9 triplets arranged like this. One, two, three, four, five, six. And they are connected like this. Last one is connected to first one. In the center, there is nothing. There is nothing means there is no microtubule. Okay, these filaments are present, but there are no filaments in the center. And the proteinaceous, protein-rich part that is present in center is called as hub. Okay, hub is a protein-rich part in center plus 9 triplets. So this type of arrangement is called as 9 plus 0 array. There is nothing in center, so it is called as 9 plus 0 array, and which is seen in centrioles. 9 triplets in the corners and 0 filaments in the center. Okay, that is about the structure of centriole. What is the importance of centrioles? They help in cell division. So that is about centrioles, children. Next, one major organelle is left behind, that is nucleus. But before we discuss nucleus, we will discuss about microbodies. Peroxisomes and glycosomes. Sorry, glyoxysomes. Peroxisomes and glyoxysomes are called as microbodies. They are present only in plant cells. Only in plant cells. What is their function? Glyoxysomes are present in oil seeds, oil-rich seeds, and their function is to convert oil that is present into glucose. And there is a cycle that operates. There is a cyclic event that operates for this function, and that is called as glyoxylate cycle. Glyoxylate cycle operates to convert oil lipid molecules to carbohydrate molecules. Okay. Not only glucose, it can be any carbohydrate. Okay. Second, what is the function of peroxisomes? As the name suggests, first thing is hydrogen peroxide has some toxicity. This toxicity of hydrogen peroxide is neutralized by peroxisomes. Hydrogen peroxide is neutralized it is removed from the body by converting into other molecules. That is one of the function. Apart from that, it has other function like breakdown of lipid molecules. Breakdown of lipid molecules. And it also helps in formation of phospholipids. Formation of phospholipids. Lipid molecules are usually long chain phosphate, phospholipid, like that. It will join and form a long chain. When it is breaking the bonds in between, what will happen? Individual phospholipids are formed. Okay. So that is the same thing, breakdown of lipids to form phospholipid molecules. Phospholipid molecules. Right, that is about microbodies. And finally, we'll discuss about nucleus. Very, very important. Nucleus is first discovered by Robert Brown when he observed the leaves of orchid plants. Orchid plant leaves under the microscope. He saw there is a central body which is taking the strain, and it is called as nucleus. Later, another scientist, Fleming, identified that the part of nucleus which is taking the color strain which is added is nothing but chromatin. So when you observe the structure of nucleus is a circular, most of the time it is circular, except some cells. We have seen WBC have different types of nucleus, and it is covered by a double membrane envelope. Double membrane envelope. This envelope is called as nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane has small holes in between, very small holes in between, and these are called as nuclear pores. Nuclear pores. Nuclear pores helps in exchange of substances between nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. Nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. What is nucleoplasm? The liquid that is present inside this nucleus is called as nucleoplasm. And this liquid that is present in cell is cytoplasm. Between that there is exchange of substances, and that exchange is possible because of this nuclear pore. What are the substances that are exchanged? Exchange of RNA and proteins. Okay, RNA is a type of genetic material. And inside the nucleus, there are some circular bodies which are not having any envelope around them. There is no there is no membrane around this. These circular bodies are called as nucleolus. Nucleolus are structures which are present inside the nucleoplasm. What is the function of nucleolus? It produces RNA. Which RNA? Ribosomal RNA. Ribosomes have some RNA material in them. That ribosomal RNA is produced by nucleolus. Apart from that, the entire nucleoplasm is filled with genetic material. This genetic material is nothing but chromatin. This is the substance that takes the stain. When we observe nucleus, we add some stains like crystal violet or methylene blue. That stain is taken by this chromatin. What is present in chromatin? Chromatin has DNA, proteins, and some RNA. Okay, these proteins can be histone proteins and non-histone proteins. histone proteins and non-histone proteins. Histone proteins are basic proteins where non-histone proteins are neutral proteins. Okay. We know the DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid, DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acids. This is acid and this is base. So there is very good binding between DNA and histone proteins. Whereas neutral proteins, they are not used for structure formation. There is no binding. They are useful in various ways. It's not like they are not useful, but binding, strong binding is seen between this histone and DNA molecules. And we can see a small amount of RNA also in this, that is ribose nucleic acid. Ribose nucleic acid. Okay. These two are genetic material. Why they are called as genetic material? They carry the information from one generation to another generation. Like you're having some features of your grandmother, some features that are related to your father, your mother. That is because this material, genetic material, are carrying that information from your parent to yourself, from your grandparents to parents, from parents to yourself. Okay, this what do you say? They carry the information, genetic information, from parent to progeny. Genetic information from parent to progeny. Right. When you observe this chromatin, they are actually having small bead-like structures. Small beads like structures. When we observe closely, that means total chromatin is made up of beads DNA. Beads DNA. What is present in these beads? Each of these nucleo beads that are present in the chromatin is called as chromatin core. It consists of, each bead consists of histone proteins. Histone proteins are of 5 types: H1A, H1B, H2, sorry, H2A, H2B, H3, H4, and H1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types. Among this, the the chromatin core is made up of H2A, H2B, H3, H4. There are 5 types of histone proteins: H1, H2A, H2B, H3, H4. The core of chromatin, the chromatin core, each bead is made up of H2A, H2B, H3, H4. In doubles, they are not singles. 2 H2A molecules are present. 2 H2B molecules are present. 2 H3 molecules are present. One behind the other. 4 are present on the front side. Exactly 4 are present on the back side. They make a cube-like structure. Okay. Around this, DNA will coil like this. DNA will coil like this. How many times it will coil? One complete round, and one turn is 1 3 by 4 turn. Okay. One complete round till here, one complete round completed. Again it will take a coil. This is 1 3 by 4 turn. Okay. This point and this point are connected together by H1 histone. This forms the core of chromatin, or you can say it as chromatin core, nuclear core. This core is having 9 histone proteins. The major 8 histone proteins are present in center. One is binding histone, which is H1 histone. The genetic, what is a DNA turns is 1,3/4, which is equal to 200 base pairs. The length of DNA is measured in base pairs. And when we study the complete structure of DNA, you'll understand what is a base pair clearly. But presently understand it is a unit to measure the length of DNA. And between one bead and another bead, there is a small length of DNA. This is 124 base pairs. It is called as linker DNA. This type of coiling can accommodate more amount of DNA in less amount of space. Okay? Now, what else? When you observe this chromatin material during cell division process, they are coiled, okay, usually which is present like this. When the nuclear division takes place, they'll coil. Tightly they are coiling to form a structure called chromosome. To form a structure called chromosome, like this. So when you observe, not this much loose, very tightly coiled, very, very tightly coiled. So this structure is called as chromosomes. In human beings, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. 23 pairs of chromosomes. That means 23 each, one to one pair, one to one pair, one to one pair, like that 23 pairs are there. That means totally 46 chromosomes are there. This chromosome and this chromosome are called as homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes. Similar in structure. This and this are called homologous. Homologous. Like that, 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes will form 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome is made up of two chromatids. This is one chromatid. This is one chromatid. These two chromatids which make one chromosome are called as sister chromatids. Sister chromatids. Sister chromatids are joined together at one point. This is called as centromere. Centromere has disc-shaped structures called kinetochore. Kinetochore. Based on the arrangement of this kinetochore, the chromosomes are classified into four types. What are those four types of chromosomes? When when the length of arms of sister chromatids is equal, it is called as metacentric chromosome. When one side of arms is little larger than the other side, then it is called as submetacentric chromosome. When one side of arm is extremely smaller than the other side of arm, then it is called as acrocentric chromosome. when the chromatid is centromere is arranged extremely at the corner and there are only two arms, one related to one sister chromatid, then it is called as telocentric chromosome. Okay, so that is it, children. Did I forget any point? Yeah, number of nucleus is not number of nucleus is not same for all the cells. Some cells, paramecium is having 2 nucleus, skeletal muscle has more nucleus, RBC is having no nucleus, different cells have different nucleus. And one more point I forgot to say, between outer membrane and inner membrane there is some space. This space is called as intermembranal space. This space is about 10 to 50 nanometer. 10 to 50 nanometer. And outer membrane is continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. Right.